What's up guys, edrone here, and today we're going to be showing you how to install the Vifly camera switcher. Stay tuned. We're going to be showing you how to install this camera switcher on a mini quad, but it'll be the same for your fixed wing airplanes and any other type of models. You want to go ahead and have two cameras and you want to be able to switch to either one. This is a really cool technology, and look at the form factor. Very small board here. Take a look up close. You can see all the pads on the board here, the solder pads, and everything's nice and labeled for you so you know what all the pads do. If we flip around on the other side, you'll see we have some capacitors here. Very nice laid out. I liked how the form factor and how small this board actually is. Let's go ahead and show you the size comparison to a micro camera. On the right, I have the micro camera, and here you can see I have the camera switching board here. Very tiny. Not going to have a problem mounting this anywhere on your build. So in the package, you get the camera switching board itself. You get some nice silicone wire here, and they give you a heat shrink. So when you get done, you can put this in some nice heat shrink, keep it nice and protected. Taking a look at the board, on this side, you will see a minus, plus, and a CO pad. Now, the minus is going to be a ground. The plus is going to be your voltage input. Now, that can be anywhere from 4.2 volts to 25 volts. So keep that in mind. And the CO is going to be your video output. Here you'll see three smaller pads. Now, as you look at these pads, depending on what kind of receiver you're using is going to determine what you're going to do with your solder. So if you're using S-Bus, you're going to leave these alone. You're going to leave all these pads open. If you're using Spectrum, then you're going to go ahead and solder the two pads on the right side. If you're using iBus, you're going to solder the left two pads together. If you're using a PWM receiver, you're going to solder all three pads together and short that out. Now here on number 5, the DI, you would solder to the DI if you're using Spectrum. You have SB right here, which is going to be for S-Bus. These pads on the right-hand side are going to be for your two cameras. You have your positive, your negative, and your camera signal wire. That's going to be C2 and C1, camera 1, camera 2. So you'll put your signal wire for your camera on the C pads. Now, let's go ahead and get this wired up to the receiver. We're going to go ahead and wire up our power, our ground, and our video out that goes to the camera pad. Board here, the Vifly camera splitter board, soldered up to the Maytech F405 flight controller. We're going to run the yellow wire to the camera pad. We're going to run the ground wire to the same ground of the receiver. So just piggyback off that. And the power wire, we're going to run to the PDB underneath to the 10 volt pad right there. And that's how we have it all wired up. We have both our cameras soldered up, and you can put this, ideally you would want to put this camera board in the middle so you could run a camera out the rear and a camera out the front. And there you go. That's all you have to do to wire it. It's very simple, and with the board being as small as it is, it's easy to find a spot to mount it. Okay, so channel auxiliary 3, which is channel 7, is actually this switch right here on mine. And if you flip this switch, which I have configured for my beeper, which I had to turn that off in Betaflight, if I click this switch here, it will actually switch the cameras back and forth, so you can toggle in between cameras. So what do I think about this camera switching board from Vifly? I think it's amazing for the price. I think the form factor will fit just about anything you have, whether it be a quadcopter, fixed wing, even if you wanted to put it on an RC car for that matter. I think the form factor is very nice, and it's easy to solder up, and it works great. It switches back and forth relatively quick, I think. And if whether you want to build a cheater quad, or if you want to have a way to be able to see below you if you're landing like a fixed wing, this is a great idea to use if your flight controller doesn't already support camera switching. One important thing to note as well, make sure your cameras are either the same. If you're using different cameras, you must make sure that you have them both set to either PAL or NTSC to prevent any issues. Make sure they're both set to the same setting. And it'd probably be easier if you just use two of the same cameras, but that might not always be practical. So just make sure both your cameras both have same settings for PAL or NTSC. They both need to be the same. Also, make sure you double check your voltages if you're running two different cameras. You want to make sure you don't run the incorrect voltage to either one of those cameras. So for example, if both your cameras take 5 volt up to 26 volts, then you'd be okay. But if one camera takes a lower voltage or a higher voltage and the other one doesn't, you may end up damaging one of your cameras. The link for this Vifly camera switcher board will be in the video description, so make sure you check it out. Vifly has been a wonderful company. They have really excellent products, and their customer support is definitely top-notch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. More camera switching video, quadcopter videos to come on the channel, so make sure you stay tuned. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Edrone, out.